Good afternoon, 8th grade science class, both in person and online. Today we are going over page 78 in our packet. This page is going to be covering over levels of organization, organisms, and our own organization inside our body. All you need is a pencil and a highlighter. Let's begin. Page 78, levels of organization. Okay, we have a few different levels of organization inside of our body, okay? The first level is the smallest level. Everything is made up of cells. Cell is the first fill in the blank, guys. Cell. C-E-L-L. Cells. This is the basic building block of life, basic unit of life. Now, I know they were able to cover animal and plant cells last year before COVID, right? Before the shutdown. So animal and plant cells kind of tie into this, but cell is the smallest, all right, level of a living organization or organism, okay? So cell. Next, after a cell, they come together and cells form tissue. The next level is called tissue, right? Cell, then tissue. I'll zoom in some for you guys. Sorry about that. Cells and tissue. After tissues come together. Sometimes different types of tissues come together and they form an organ. So an organ is just a group of tissue coming together to perform a specific function. Or organs come together. What's up? Yeah, integumentary system. Yep. Your skin. Good. Next, you have organ systems. When a bunch of organs are working together to perform an overall task, that's an organ system. Sorry for my handwriting, but organ system. There you go. And if you have an organ system, that makes an organism. Organism. Bet you never really thought about where that word comes from. Organism has organs. Organ systems. Organism. Cool. Cell, tissue, organ system, organism. An organism is that final stage, guys. We are organism. Yeah. Any animal, a plant, anything that has organ systems would be an organism. Not in this type, but in biology next year. At the end of the year, if we have time, which I can't promise, we have a dissection party where we do dissect something, but just because this year, I don't know if they're going to allow me to, but hopefully at the end of the year, our party in class is a dissection party. And we've done things like starfish and rats. We did a baby pig and a baby shark one year. But good question. All right, so next we have our levels of organization. We need to write them down one more time because we need to stick them in our head. What's our first level, guys? What do you see right here? Cells. Good. You're looking at cells in this first picture. Next, you're looking at tissue. Good. When those cells come together, as you see, they're kind of fitting together. You got your tissue. When different tissues come together, we have an organ. The organs can work together. Organ system. When organs come together, they form an organ system. And then last but not least, an organism. Take a second, write those down. It's the same as the ones on the top. We're just putting them with the picture. Right. Those of you online are more than welcome to skip ahead a few seconds. But those of you guys who are still writing, if you're done writing, that is your digestive system. All right, good. Now, let's move down and look at cell theory, guys. Let's look at the cell theory. There's a few names here. All right, the good news is you don't need to memorize these names. This isn't a history class, right? So we don't have to have these names memorized. Okay? But we need to know what these people theorized. What was the cell theory that these people came together to develop? Now, throughout history, more ideas, more evidence came forward, and we were able to develop this cell theory. Okay? First part of the cell theory is 3 parts. The first part is all living things are composed of cells. Everything that's living is made up of cells. Animal cells or plant cells? Well, no, because you can also have prokaryotic cells. Go ahead. Blocks of life. Building blocks of life. Yeah. The second is that the cell is the basic building block of life. Cell is the building block of life. Without cells, cells wouldn't be able to replicate, we wouldn't be able to grow tissue, we wouldn't be able to grow. You have cells in your body right now replicating themselves. Constantly.
More than 1,000, more than 1,000,000.
Of what, cells? Oh yeah, billions, trillions. That make up your body.
So when you first born, you was born with 1 cell?
You're actually born with what we call stem cells. And you've probably heard it in the news or in other science class. A stem cell is a cell that hasn't been programmed yet. Babies in the womb, fetuses are mostly made up of stem cells, meaning the body has created a cell, but the body hasn't told that cell what to become yet. Are you going to be a skin cell, a liver cell, a heart cell, a brain cell? That's what they mean by stem cells. It's a building block. That's why they're able to use stem cells to do a lot of research. They also use stem cells to help patients with lots of different diseases. Because since that stem cell hasn't been programmed yet, if you say inject a sick person with a stem cell, then that stem cell can program into the missing cells of that person is losing. There's lots of different applications for it, but there's controversy behind it because you're using aborted fetuses in order to get stem cells. So there's that aspect behind it. But a stem cell is just a cell that hasn't been programmed yet. I got you. I can give you a bunch to find your own, but there's a good chance it's just indefinite. I was sort of a reader, but have you checked the other cabinets? Do that first. Check it. You help her, but yeah, just check the class before you and after you. So check the 7th grade cabinet and the 5th grade cabinet first. Okay. All right. The third part, guys. Cells come from pre-existing cells, just like we were talking about. Cells are asexual. They can split themselves. A cell doesn't have to meet up with another cell and make babies. They split themselves. So cellular reproduction is just cells coming from other cells, right? And that third law is cells originate from pre-existing cells. Well, where did this first cell come from? That's something you're going to get into biology much later. Okay? Biology is a really fun class. Biology. Dissect. Good. There is some sex stuff because you learn about asexual and sexual reproduction. We do. You learn a lot about body systems, hormones, things like that. Good. All right. Any questions on the different levels of organizations? You guys are doing great. We're almost done. We got just this page and the back. This in the back. All right, page 79, characteristics of organisms. Characteristics of organisms. I like watching this routine run. Characteristics of organisms. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So the spelling's on the page, kind of in the pictures down here, if you need to spell it. Prokaryotic is an organism whose cell lacks a nucleus and other organelles. Prokaryotes are very simple cells, guys. These are things like bacteria, archaea. Right? They only have themselves. There's no nucleus. All their DNA is just floating around inside their membrane. These are very simple cells. Some of the world's most ancient cells are prokaryotic. Simple. Not a lot to them. And you can see a picture of a prokaryotic cell right here. This is a bacteria cell. You have a picture of bacteria cell, prokaryotic. See that little tail? That's how it moves. Everything else goes through the membrane. It can eat. It can, shoot out stuff, digest it, and poop it out technically. Not really the same process, but everything goes through membrane. Everything this cell needs is right here. No organelles, just some DNA mixed up in all sides of it, okay? And that DNA is how it can split and replicate itself. Got it? All right, next, we have eukaryotic cells. How I like to remember this, guys, is prokaryotic and eukaryotic, all right? Eukaryotic is like you. You are eukaryotic. You have a nucleus in your cells. Your cells are complicated. They have organelles, mitochondria, all right? Endoplasmic reticulum. It's got nucleus and Golgi bodies, cytoplasm, a cell membrane, a cell wall. Sometimes, not you, but plants would have a cell wall. Plants would also have chloroplast. What you have here is a picture of a plant cell. How do you know that this is a plant cell? It's square. It's square. It has a cell wall. Plants don't have bones like we do, right? So a plant has to provide structure for itself. Plant structure is down at a cellular level. All those little walls link up together like Legos, and it builds a piece of tissue. That tissue is strong. Think about it. When you poke yourself, your finger goes into your skin. You don't have cell walls. But if you poke a tree, your finger going anywhere? No. Cell wall. Okay? Well, it bounces, right? It's squishy. Right? That's because we ourselves don't have cell walls. But you have to go all the way to the bone for it to stop, right? That our bone is what gives us support. For plant cells, it's the cell wall that gives the cell support.
What if we didn't have the bone?
It's like a amorphous blob. No support, no bones, no need for muscle. We would be like a jellyfish. All right. Examples of eukaryotic cells: us, humans, organisms like animals and insects. Remember, pro means no nucleus, and eu means true nucleus. But I like to think of eukaryotic like you, animals, complex cells. All right? Prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Any questions on those two types of cells? Awesome. Hopefully this is more review for some of you guys. The next part is unicellular. I'll pull it down a little bit for you. There you go. I got you. Take your backpack. Hold on. All right. Unicellular and multicellular. Uni, guys, means one. How many horns does a unicorn have?
One.
One. That's why it's called a unicorn. Okay? Unicorn. One. Uni means one. So unicellular is an organism that is made up of one cell. These are prokaryotic cells. They're unicellular. One cell. Organism. Bacteria. One cell. One organism. Okay? Unicellular, like bacteria. The best example of the bacteria. Okay? Sometimes a virus. Viruses can be single cell. You've seen the picture of the COVID-19 virus, right?
Yeah.
Squishy ball, all things around it. That's one cell. That's unicellular. Okay? All right, next. An organism is made up of many cells. It's called multicellular. It kind of says it in the name. Multiple cells. Multicellular. We are multicellular. Insects are multicellular. Plants are multicellular. We require lots of different types of cells. Skin cells, hair cells, brain cells. All types of cells to make it work. Okay? One thing that's important to remember, guys, is for eukaryotic and multicellular things, we also have reproductive cells. All right? You have to think of, for women, you have a fertilized egg. For men, you have a sperm. Those are specific cells made for reproduction and only reproduction. If you're not sexual and you're asexual, meaning you don't have to produce an offspring with a mate, you can produce an offspring all by yourself. All right? If you're asexual, you're more likely to be, right, unicellular or very simple cellular makeup. Okay? But we have cells in our entire body, and the more complex you are, you're eukaryotic. All right, any questions?
No.
All right. Autotroph versus heterotroph. It's in the word, guys. Autotroph. Automatically makes food. Automatically.
That's crazy.
They take in sunlight and makes food. It's called photosynthesis. When an organism is able to produce its own food, it's called an autotroph. Think of algae, phytoplankton, right? Grass, trees. They're able to take in sunlight and produce sugar, glucose. Right? So these are called autotroph. It automatically make food. Wouldn't that be nice if you just had to step outside to get like you're hungry? Like what if humans could soak up sunlight and turn it into food? Right? Right? That'd be a pretty good like mutant power, I guess. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go stand in the sun for a little bit. Heterotrophs, guys. Heterotrophs are organisms that must consume in order to survive. We are heterotrophs. We have to eat things to survive. Like we just said, we can't stand out in the sun, soak up sunlight, turn it into.
Somebody said you don't need somebody to survive. I need water.
You do have to eat. Now, you can survive 3 weeks without food, roughly on average. Your body can, but you can only survive 3 days without water. Right? Right?
So if I don't drink until 3 days,
Animals and insects, or plants and algae. What's up?
Yes.
Yeah, heterotrophs. Animals and insects. All right. Any questions on page 79?
No.